Hi crafty folks, Amy here, and today I'm going to work with a beautiful new stencil and some metallic gilding polish. So let's jump right in. This is called Mid-Century Angles. It's probably one of my absolute favorites from this new August release at A Colorful Life Designs. I did use pixie spray, and here are a couple photos. It is just unbelievable the amount of detail with this gorgeous stencil. So to start, basically all I did was put pixie spray on the back. I kind of pass over 2 or 3 times. I have actually a spray box that I spray in so I don't, cover everything, every surface with this sticky stuff. But it really does help when you're working with some sort of medium like I'm about to. So I'm just going to press this down with my brayer on some black heavyweight cardstock, and I'm going to use this gorgeous metallic gilding polish. I will link the information on the products that I used in the video description box below, but this is like a gorgeous, almost like a peacock color. It is just, it's swoon worthy, and I absolutely love it. But I have a blending foam here. I usually dedicate one blending foam to each of my different metallic gilding polishes, just so I have one specifically for that pot. Now, as you saw in the handle, if you're familiar with the gilding polishes, there is like a blending foam that comes in the top, but I actually prefer these little small ones that go on the handle, like the old school Tim Holtz ones, just because I find like they stay nice and flat. They kind of get hard when they dry out, which actually makes it easier to just kind of go right over the top surface of the stencil. But it went down super fast, and I'm just going to carefully remove the stencil to reveal this amazing design. Isn't that so gorgeous? So now I'm going to quick go off screen. I'm going to wipe off my surface and then go clean off my stencil. And honestly, by the time I'm done doing this, that panel is almost dry. It's crazy how fast this stuff dries, and it does not rub off once it's dry. So like the mica doesn't rub off, it doesn't transfer, nothing like that. So it's one of my favorite things about these gilding polishes. Now here I have some press and seal. I'm just going to really push that down on the rim and then close it up tight, and that's going to help it from, drying out on me. Here I'm just showing you, see, it's already completely dry. It's crazy how fast it works. But I do like to open a window when I work with this stuff because it does have a bit of a scent. It reminds me almost of like car model paint. But here I'm shopping my sentiment book, and as you'll see in a moment, I'm not actually wanting to use the sentiments that I found in here. I really like the look of the black shadow layer with the white letter, but the sentiment I wanted wasn't in my sentiment book. So I'm flipping through just to make sure, but I do ultimately end up getting out my die set from Concord and 9th and cut some other ones just to give myself the sentiment that I want to use on this card. So a way to save time is to not just do one at a time. I thought if I'm going to the trouble of cutting this out, I'm going to at least have a few extras to put in my book for future use. So you guys have been asking, and I am planning on making a video about how I fill my binder book, but this is just one way. If there's one particular set I want to work with, and I'm going to the trouble of doing some die cutting, then I'm going to at least cut a few extra. So that's what I'm doing here. I had like one panel of black, one of white, and I put a few of the sentiments down so I can mix and match them with the shadow layer. Black and white is always a winner. Neutrals like that will work on so many different cards that you create. So that's kind of where I was going here. So I just cut some shadows out in black and the words out in white, and I just kind of mix and match and have these extra pieces to go. So I'm using my pokey tool just to kind of poke out the little bits, and I'm going to use my microdot sheets here. These are Artist Tack. These are the microdots that I use. Now, some people have a love-hate with these. I have a love-hate with liquid glue. So I will say you will probably get a couple dots on the front of your die cut. It's not as big of an issue when you're dealing with like a flat cardstock like this, where it's like white or black. If it's metallic, you might want to use a little bit of rubbing alcohol to get it off, or you may want to consider using liquid glue. So it's just a matter of the lesser of two evils for you. There's pros and cons with all the different types of adhesive. Like I said, liquid glue drives me absolutely bonkers. So for me, it's a okay trade-off to have a couple of dots on the front that I need to use my adhesive eraser to get off. Some of you, that might not work. You may be magical with liquid glue and not have the oozage that I always do. So use whatever adhesive works for you, but I still like these micro dots despite the fact that you can still get some transfer on the front. There's nowhere near as many dots on the front as you get on the back where they're supposed to. See here, you can see there's like a couple dots, but I'm just using my adhesive eraser and carefully erasing it off. Sometimes it get a little too rough, so just be careful and use your adhesive eraser, and it should come right off like a regular matte cardstock. Like I said, if you're doing that in a metallic, might be a little trickier. You might want to use rubbing alcohol, but be careful it's not going to pull the pigment from your, like if you have like a red metallic, it might mess with that if you use alcohol. So again, just pick your battles, pick your glue based on your products and what drives you crazy or not. And here I decided to use this Celebrate You. I was kind of just going through whether I wanted the white as the shadow or the black. And here you can see I'm just going to load these extras up in my binder for future usage. It's always satisfying to have the stuff ready to go. It does help me save time. But this is one way that I start to fill it up. But like I said, I will make a video. I don't know when it'll be released. Maybe it'll be released before this one. I'm not sure. But I will make a video about how I fill that binder because so many of you were interested in that process. So I have these little strips. These I get from Amazon. They're little thin foam strips. And I'm just going to put those all over the back, kind of cut them in little, you know, fiddly bits all over the back. Another thing I could have done was just cut some foam with that shadow layer. And then I would have had nice even dimension all over the full back of the die cut. But these I had on hand. It wasn't, you know, too time consuming. I just quickly pulled the backs off, and then I'm going to put this down on the front of this amazing metallic gilded polish stenciled card front. So here I'm just lining it up, make sure it's nice and straight, even on each side. And then I decided to take this Wink of Stella brush. This is like a little clear glitter brush, just to add some glitter to the white, just to give it a little something extra. So when you turn it in the light, you can really see this pretty shimmery glitter on those white words, and they pop off so beautifully off that busy background. And now I have a little bag of blingage that Mary Kay will include with orders, and I'm going to use some liquid glue here and my jewel picker tool just to lay down these little white and kind of iridescent sequins. I think initially I was going to do just the flat white ones, but then I realized that the iridescent ones look better, so I think I pulled that white only one and then just used the pretty or holographic or whatever they are on the front of the card, just because it kind of tied in with the little shimmery element that I just put on the letters with the Wink of Stella brush. So all the products I will link in the video description box below. Be sure to check out the rest of the August release. It is awesome. There's so many good ones, and I do have a coupon, AmyFan10. If you shop, you'll save 10% on your complete order. So that's going to finish it, guys. I love these gilding polishes. You know I do. They're amazing, and this color is just wowza. It's gorgeous. Anyway, thanks so much for spending time with me today. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, please hit the thumbs up, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.